friend and classmate Joshua for his icebreaker, my fencing journey.
So hello everyone. My name is Joshua Dong. I'm a freshman at NUS, and my speech is my fencing journey. So a few people that I want to mention before we start, because I'm going to mention them, is Soren Johnson. He's a fellow fencer at NUS. Yo Kimura, he's another fencer I know. Oscar and Michael Yo, they're also fencers. And then my coach, Coach Sergey, he's our coach. And so pretty much my fencing journey started a week before MUS when class starts. It was at night around 6 to 9. I got a call from Jonathan Huang's dad. He's a friend from my old church in Denton, and he called me and he asked if I wanted to do fencing because his son did it at MUS, and I said sure, even though I didn't know a lot. He told me to then call Jonathan to learn more about fencing. So after the call with his dad, I called Jonathan. And when I called Jonathan, he gave me a brief description on what fencing is and when the practices are. And then he gave me the coach's email. And that night, when I got home, I emailed my coach and he sent me the times again for practices. So a week after class started, I went to the first practice. And when I got into the fencing room, I realized there's a lot of people I know. For example, Oscar, Michael, uh, these other people like Brian Ding and Albert Ding, you might know them. So when we got there, we started doing drills. The coach introduced us to the rest of the team, and we just started joining in. And after doing drills and footwork, we then met with more and more people. So more people helped us with our footwork. And 3 months after I started fencing, which was in September, so 3 months later was December. In December, coach told us that we had to buy our equipment because in fencing we have different equipments. For example, we have a blade, we have a body cord, which is like a wire. We have lame, which is where we get the points, and we have a jacket, which we put over our body to protect us from the poking. And yeah, so December I got my stuff, and then I started fencing right after, and I really enjoyed it. But however, I got beat a lot by the better people because when I was in seventh grade, we had a lot of outstanding fencers like Samuel, Dex, all these people, and I just got beat every time. And after 2 months, I decided to dedicate myself and try to get better. Because before then, I just was there to hang out with my friends, right? For a source of exercise. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work hard and try to improve. So the next 2 months after I dedicated myself, I improved dramatically. So from losing to like 5 points to zero, I started losing from 5 points to 3 points. I just got better over time. But at the end of the school year, I got injured kind of. My ankle started to act up. So during practice, I kind of like skipped a bit, took 30 minutes to an hour rest every time during practice because I just couldn't keep up. My ankle just kept giving up. So I just completely stopped fencing for the rest of the rest of the summer, which was kind of bad. Maybe if I continued, I'll be better, but I just stopped. And starting eighth grade, I was just terrible. I lost to everyone, but I got like bad scores and stuff. Went to my first tournament 2 weeks after the school year started. I lost every bout a lot. But after that tournament, I realized that I can't just keep on going downhill with my skill level. I had to improve somehow. So I so that night after the tournament, I had a chat with my dad about how we can get better, how my dad can help me to get better, and then we decided to full on with fencing, just full force, trying to get better, improving everything. I started watching YouTube videos, started practicing at home. My dad bought more and better equipment for me, and the next semester of 8th grade, I went to more and better tournaments, more tournaments. I improved a lot. In the summer of 8th grade, I went to a fencing camp in Birmingham, which was a turning point for me. Because at that camp, the coach pretty much changed the way I fenced completely. He made me restart because my technique was bad, so I completely restarted my technique. But when 9th grade started, I realized that I didn't want to do my first play, which was foil. So I decided to go to épée. And for épée, I didn't really know how to do anything, right? So I went to another fencing coach in Nashville, and at that fencing coach, he taught me everything, how to get better at épée. So now I'm just doing épée now. So I went from foil to épée, and right now in épée, I sometimes beat Michael, I sometimes don't. I sometimes beat Oscar, I sometimes don't. But yeah, so that's it. That's my fencing journey so far. Maybe next year I can add more to my speech.
And the very crucial.
Yeah, and the crucial reason.
Yes. Well, that'd be my evaluator. Sure, okay. Mia. This is my project. Number 10. Objectives.
I would now like to call on Mia to introduce the next speaker, Anna.
The next speaker, Anna, is doing her 10th project, and her objectives are to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. Appeal to the audience's needs and emotions using stories in this code and quotes to add drama, and avoiding using notes.
Thank you, Mia. Today, I want to talk about the leadership. That's what we're here for, right? We're practicing communication and leadership skills. So before I start, I want to ask you a question. Have you seen a good leaders in your life so far? Who is that person? And what do you admire him or her the most? Who is that leader? And what do you admire him the most or her? Okay. All right. Hold that thought. Let me continue. My greatest leader I have seen so far is the first pastor in my church. His name is Fred Wu. We call him Pastor Wu. He started our church, founded our church back in 2002. And we started gathering at Germantown Baptist Church. We rented a room over there, worship and Bible study every week. After 6 years, we were financially capable to buy our own church. So we bought a building in the heart of Colleyville, and then we have our own church. Since then, he kept shepherding his sheep for another couple of years, and he retired. Let me tell you, Pastor Wu is a very interesting person. One of the he's good at many things, but one of the things he's good at is cooking. He cook really well. One of the dessert he cooked the best is the coconut sticky rice cake. Every Friday night when we have a Bible study, he would bring that cake to the church, and the whole room is filled with the coconut aroma. After the Bible study, all the kids will run downstairs, open that foil, and that aroma just keep coming out. The cake is still warm, and we all have a slice. It's the best time ever. He likes to share his life with us. Every time we gather, there's a food. He's such a good cook. But another thing he's good at is getting you to be devoted to your spirituality. He will not sugarcoating everything. If he thinks you're not doing the right thing, he will tell you, but not brusque. Example, many years ago, I was teaching a dance fitness class at a gym on Friday nights. After a couple months, he came to me and he said, Anna, you should not go teach that class. You should come to the church and do the Bible study on Friday night. At first, I was a little offended. I was, who are you to tell me what to do, what not to do? But later, when I look back, I know he's right. Because that's the period I got too hyped with my own ambition and stepped away from God. So I know he is right. And now I appreciate him telling me that at that moment. He loves us, even though sometimes he's very direct, but I know he say that because he loves us. He has a genuine care and love for us. So that's the one of the character I admire him the most. That is, he genuinely care for me and for everybody in the church. After he retired, he moved to Houston to be with his children. But in the year of 2018 or 17, I believe, 17, the Hurricane Harvey flooded his home. And in the midst of rebuilding his home, our second pastor retired too. And we were in the need of a pastor. But he flew back and forth every weekend to teach us, and then Monday, he flew back to his home in Houston. That lasted 2 years, and that really took the toll on his health and his wife's health. But that's the love he showed us, because he truly loved his church and his people. So now I want to ask you, who is that leader you admire, and what is the thing you admire the most? And Quinn, do you want to share?
Huh? About
The leader.
I can't really think of one on top of my head.
Ison, how about you?
Oh, another one. I like your spiritual leader, so I'm gonna go with my spiritual leader, which is at my church we call him Father Artie. I'm a Catholic, so he's really humorous, so I look up to him a lot, and he makes the church experience fun.
Ananya, how about you? Is there a leader you admire, and what's the thing you admire her or him the most?
So would it necessarily have to be someone that I know personally?
Yeah, I would say personally, but if not, anybody would be fine.
Okay, so like as a Hindu person, we do go to the temple a lot, and our temple has a board. And I think one person that I really admire is he's the president of the board, and like I call him uncle respectively, but I just really admire him because he's always like resilient and funny through like hard times, and he always has like the right answer, and he really works hard to try and figure out things and solve problems, and it just seems like so effortless, and it kind of encourages everyone. That's his mode. It's very uplifting, and it helps a lot of other people. So I look up to him a lot.
Okay, thank you. Raghav, how about you?
I've not really seen many people that are leaders, but I'll just say my dad because he has made me a better person in a lot of ways, and he's propelled me to do better academically and in sports.
He's a role model, I guess. Thank you. All right, so I would really like to sum up what I said, because the leader is not a position, it's not a title, it's really the opportunity for you to care for your people, to make them successful. And through that process, you become a better version of yourself. And I would encourage everybody, because in the future, you will be a leader, right? And think about yourself, not just for you. Think about you become somebody that's bigger than you, right? You are not just yourself. You are more than yourself. You are more than what you think you are. So that's what leader is. You not only take care of yourself, but most importantly, you take care of the people around you. So I want everybody to think about that, and hopefully every day you are in your church or in your temple, in your school, your community, example that leadership character, right? Thank you very much.
We will now shift on to our table topics, which he's not here.
I'll do it.
You just did a speech though.
Okay.
She's valued. But he's one of the speakers, so
You do. It's you.
I don't want to.
Well, it's okay, because from this point, he has nothing else.
Yeah.
He still has a speech, evaluation speech.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll do it. Oh yeah, let's see something. Okay, question is, what is a hobby? I mean, a habit. What's a habit that you would want to break? It could be a good habit or a bad habit. Quinn, do you want to answer this question? Oh, shoot, my bad. Anson?
I don't really have a habit. Thank you, Table Topics Master, for that question. So, a habit, good or bad, that I would want to break is procrastinating. A lot of times, I know we all get schoolwork, right? Homework, so a lot of time that work just builds, and I keep pushing it to the last day, and then spending that last day finishing all the work when I could have been spreading it out and doing it over the week. And it's bad because my parents get mad at me a lot if like I don't spend time on other stuff. other than doing schoolwork. Yeah, a lot of us can relate. I know that. So procrastinating, it builds up and it's not good. It's not good. It's not gonna be a good look on you. And if you don't finish that work, it can negatively impact your GPA if you go in the next day and don't turn in the work, or if it's partially incomplete. So a habit that I would like to break is procrastinating. Thank you.
If the world or the earth is a video game, what is a update or patch that you would like to include or make the world better? So, Michael, wanna do that?
An update that I would like to make if the world were a video game would be skill point redistribution. Now, technically, our current world is very similar to video game in the way that the more time you spend on the skill, the more expert you become at it, and therefore you become higher level, so to speak. But sometimes we find in life that we only have so precious few hours to spend. So if, like Anton said, we're concentrating so much on our schoolwork, we won't be able to find a passion that we truly enjoy, like an instrument or a sport that we can do in our free time. For many of us, what little free time we have might be thrown into a hobby that our parent has picked for us, or be limited to one or two. However, I suggest a skill point redistribution mechanic where if you, for example, want to try out a new hobby, you can take all the skill points you've gained from your previous experiences and temporarily distribute them towards your new hobby to become good at it. Therefore, you can test out if you really enjoy it and won't have to waste your time on other things. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, let's go with what are you a dog person or a cat person? Mia, do you wanna do cat person or dog person?
So am I a cat person or am I a dog person?
Yeah, should
Uh, so I am actually not a cat person.
Oh.
I just think they look cute, but I prefer dogs a lot more, which is kind of funny that I'm wearing a cat hoodie right now. But personally, I just like dogs a lot more. I like going on walks with them, even though it feels more like they're walking me than I'm walking them because I cannot hold them or keep up with them in any shape or form, which probably isn't a good thing. And I think they're cute. Thank you.
So we'll go with what is your favorite summer memory this year? And can we get Raghav want to answer this question? Favorite summer memory?
So, I mean, this summer was probably my favorite memory was, so if you don't know, like, I play tennis, okay? So I go to this institution, okay? So out of all the people, they only picked two people. I was one of the two people that were sent to go play like some type of tournament in Washington D.C. and they paid for all the expenses.
Elaborate on that.
How's the tournament?
Are you guys waiting for something?
How was the tournament? Like,
Oh, well, it was hard, but it made me better in a couple of ways. Like, my favorite part was probably realizing that I got chosen for it because it was kind of like a bit of an ego boost.
Alright, so next question is, what would be your entrance theme song if you were a professional wrestler in the WWE? And Ananya, don't answer this question.
Thank you for the question, table topics person. I don't think I've ever wanted to be a professional wrestler, so this is I'm gonna have to think about it for a second. But I know it sounds really cliche, but I feel like I have the final countdown. It's like my wrestling theme. I haven't put much thought into this, but I think I'd have it because I don't know. It just sounds kind of exciting. It's like really fit for an introductory thing because that is what a wrestling theme song is technically. But yeah, I think I would choose the final countdown. Thank you.
I feel like we got everyone. Oh,
We have yeah, we have
another few.
forgot.
Okay, so
We have time for like
5 more.
how many you got on the list, bro?
Okay. What is your best family moment or family story? And Anna, do you wanna, yep. Family moment.
We have a lot of good family moment. For example, this morning, my oldest son Matthew came home. He flew back home this morning about 1 o'clock. The flight stopped at Orlando and then came to Memphis. He started from Pittsburgh, flew to Orlando and came to Memphis. So this morning, I was surprised he got up even before me. And we, of course, we had a moment. Hey, yeah, you're back. Yeah, just mom always crazy kind of moment. And we sat down, and Peter was there too. And we started to talk about we're going to church today. And they started talking about predestination and free will. Yeah. So yeah, you imagine that kind of topic is always something on our dinner table. Yeah, interesting. And yeah, we had a very good discussion there, and we talked about what's the best way to introduce Jesus to unbelievers. And yeah, we had a very good discussion there. So yeah, that's my good family moment this morning. Thank you.
Uh, if you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would you choose and why? Tim, can you answer this while doing your time war at the same time?
I can time you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, if I could hang out with any cartoon character, I actually kind of need to think about that. I haven't watched cartoons in a while, so uh, let's think. For a popular cartoon character, I don't know if a lot of you watched this one before, but I forgot the name. It's the one with the penguin. I think was it Pingu? I think that's the one. But the clay penguin, I remember myself watching that maybe a few years ago, and it was kind of interesting to me because the animation style was pretty funny to me, and it was just all a really funny concept to me. So for my favorite, well, not really favorite, but just to hang out with a cartoon character, I go with Penguin and Pingu. And it'd be really kind of funny just to hang around with them. That's it.
We'll just do one more, last one. What is the worst advice you were ever given? And Anton, can you answer this question? Someone given you, not you giving someone giving you.
So the question was, what was the worst advice somebody had ever given me? So the worst advice somebody had ever given me was to do better right after I had failed like a test or something. Cause we all have that one friend who just rubs it in after, yeah. So it was just morally crushing. I have decided to cut all ties with that friend. It was just that bad. Cause like elementary school you, after hearing that, I was crying to my parents, bro. Cause yeah, I worried about my grades too much in elementary school also. So hearing advice like that just to do better is yeah, not that good. So Quinn, okay. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Uh, what is what is the silliest thing you are pretty good at? And how about Quinn? You answer this one.
The silliest thing.
Yeah.
The silliest thing I'm good at is I need to think about this. Okay, the silliest thing I'm good at is I have swim and like when I get bored, like I just play on my stomach and I like make different folds out of my stomach. And like I think that's pretty silly. I think I'm pretty good at that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up the table talk topics. Let's pass it back to the timer report. Timer, yeah, timer. Yeah. Oh.
For the timers report, I'll start with the speeches and go on to the table topics. So for the first icebreaker speech, we had Joshua, and that was at a 6 minute and 28 seconds. Next, we had a speech from Miss Anna at 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Then those conclude the speeches. And going on to the next table topics, the first table topics person we have is Anson with a time of 1 minute and 10 seconds. Next, we have Michael with a minute and 11 seconds. Then we had Mia with a time of 1 minute and 2 seconds. Then we have, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but Raghav with a time of 1 minute and 1 second. Then we have Ananya with a time of 36 seconds. Then we had Miss Anna with a time of 1 minute 27 seconds. I'm not sure what time I got, but I was next after that. 1 minute and 1 second. That's just in time. And then next we had Anson again with a minute and 5 seconds. And lastly, we have Quinn with a time of 40 seconds. That concludes the timers report.
I would now like to call on myself for the general evaluator role. So I would now like to call on Michael for his evaluation of Joshua.
Hello, everyone. Today I'll be evaluating Joshua's icebreaker, my fencing journey. First, I would like to summarize Joshua's speech slightly. So he first did a very good beginning by giving us a background. Now, I personally know him, but I'm sure many in the audience in the room would not have known if he started just mentioning names like Soren or Oscar. So he helped us all by giving context to those names. He provided a very good event to draw us in, how he started fencing with the help of an old friend. He exhibited good vocal variety throughout his speech, which meant that it was not boring to listen to. And certainly his road to improvement is very inspiring, despite his injury during his during his seventh grade year, yeah. For an icebreaker speech, you did very well because you were able to tell us a lot about yourself and also portray a journey which you undertook to improve yourself and change. Some things you could improve on were that when you started stuttering in the middle of the speech, you became nervous, and I noticed you were twitching about a lot, but that's just nerves. I understand. I've done it too. You can also get a little more comfortable at speaking by giving more speeches, which I hope you will do in the future. But overall, this was a very good icebreaker speech with good content and vocal variety with some minor improvements with experience. Thank you.
I would now like to call on Mia for her evaluation of Miss Anna.
So Miss Anna was an improv speech for Project 10, which was to inspire your audience. So I think she did really good for making it up on the spot. So she started off by asking questions to get the audience to start thinking, which I think is a great idea because it makes your brain rotate along with the speaker. And it continued on to a more personal story with the Pastor Wu for the church stuff, which I think were good choices as you went into more details about how he changed your life and how he affected it and how it affected him and how good of a leader he was. So I think that was a good thing. And then like moving back onto the question you asked in the beginning to ask the audience once again, but actually giving them a chance to speak was also a great idea because now they have a way to answer you back. So overall, I think it was a really good speech and I can't think of anything you can improve upon. Thank you.
I would now like to call on Tim for the timer's report on the evaluation.
For the timer report for the evaluations, the first evaluator was Michael, who evaluated Joshua with a time of 1 minute and 24 seconds. Then we had Mia, who evaluated Miss Anna with a time of 1 minute and 24 seconds. That concludes from report.
I will now call on Quinn for his grammarian.
Joshua has had 10 so's, 4 uhs, and 12 ands, and 2 repeated words. Miss Anna used the word of the day and had 2 ands and 1 so. Mia had 2 so's. Anson had 3 so's. Rakov has 2 so's. I basically only counted the so's because it's my first time. I don't know. Anuya had 1 so. Tim has 3 so's and 3 uhs. Me, I had 2 uhs, 2 likes, and 2 yes. And I didn't catch anything from Michael.
So for the leader evaluations, So overall, the meeting was pretty smooth. If the only thing is that we didn't have enough people, so that's to fill in for the rules, which I think we did pretty well at. So the meeting did not start on time, mostly because of me. So I would need to improve on that. Then we moved on to the explaining of rules, which I think we did really well on. And for our speeches, so first we had Joshua on his fencing journey. It was an impromptu speech, so personal experience down pat. It's really good. Good vocal variety and hand gestures. And for like the first half, you took really short pauses to think, which I thought you did pretty well at. But at the end, you kind of stuttered and like your nerve kicked in. So that is something you should improve on. Then we got to Anna, and I think it was really good, like the whole speech. In the beginning, you engaged us by asking us questions, and that was at the end of the speech too. You had really good tone and vocal variety, and you used analogies like shepherding his sheep, which is a term used in biblical text, and good hand gestures. I recall you using uh this for, I'm pretty sure, the cake part, and your speech was really well prepared, so you know a lot about your speech, and you used the word of the day, which is really good. Then we had our engaging table topics, which I think was really good. Mostly because Quinn prepared beforehand, so I would like to thank Quinn for that. And yeah, evaluation session was pretty good. So overall, this meeting was pretty smooth. I would now like to pass it on to our